Hi, this is Dave Panzik from GigRent. Today, I'm showing you how to use CSS to edit the branding of the GigRent portal. We are a powerful streaming portal first and a simple event website second. We have an area to show upcoming speakers and separate pages to give more detail about each event. The detail page can include a synopsis, a schedule, and a sign-up link. Let's take a quick look at the streaming portal. It has a live video feed
It's my pleasure now to introduce
and a
three
chat
women
box
who
so
don't
the
really
attendees can communicate and ask Q&A. Now let's head back to the home page and dive into branding with CSS. Making changes to branding is as easy as uploading a CSS file. Here we will upload a CSS file that was prepared for a client. We'll go back to the home page and hit refresh. And wow, look at that. The coloring is different. The text is different. The fonts are different. Everything's different. Now we'll upload a CSS file for Royster Productions and hit refresh again. And man, look at that. Completely different appearance. Now let's drill into how this CSS works. Let's say, for example, we want to change the color of this header. We go into a document called the primer, and we scroll until we find the area that we're interested in. We can see that the header is called navbar inverse. Now we go to our CSS page, and we do a search for navbar minus inverse. There it is, navbar inverse. But now let's change the color of navbar inverse. I have no idea what color we're typing in here. It's going to be some shade of green. Save the file, upload the file to the server, head back to the home page, hit refresh, and look at that, a beautiful army green. Wow, how nice. Now let's say, for example, this big gray area, we don't like it. We want to add some color to it. We go back to the primer, and we can see the big gray area is called Jumbotron. We go back to the CSS sheet, we do a search for Jumbotron. There it is. Let's scroll to the color field, and let's make the Jumbotron kind of a shade of green. Save the file, upload the file to the server, head back to the home page and hit refresh. Oh, cool. We've got kind of an army theme going on here. That's pretty neat. Well, let's say, for example, now you want to change the look of these buttons. They're kind of big, they're kind of bulky, their color isn't great. Let's go back to the primer. You can see the buttons are called button primary and button LG. Button primary has the color data, and button LG has the sizing data. Let's head back to the CSS sheet, do a search for button primary. There's the top of button primary. Let's change the color of that button. Save the file. Upload the file to the server. Head to the home page, hit refresh, and look at that. The button's now a beautiful shade of blue. Now let's say we don't like how big and bulky these buttons work. We're going to do a search for button LG, button minus LG. There it is. Look at that. The button's 27 pixels tall and 27 pixels wide. Let's make this a lot thinner, more lean and mean. Hit save. Upload the file to the server. Refresh the browser. Ah, look at that. That's better. That's a lot better. Now let's say, for example, you don't like the square hard edge on those buttons right there. Let's head back to the style sheet. And inside button LG, there's a way to make rounded corners. Let's add 10 pixels to the rounded corners. Hit save. Upload to the website. And refresh. Ah, rounded corners now. Very nice. Now let's say, for example, you don't like these gray buttons down here. They're kind of boring and they're not poppy enough. Let's go back to the primer, and we can see that button is called button minus default, BTN minus default. Head back to the CSS. Let's do a search for BTN minus default. And let's change this to some shade of green. Save the file. Upload the file to the web server. And refresh. Ooh, yeah, those buttons pop now. Excellent. Now let's say we don't like this mouse over color. Every time the mouse goes over the button, it just turns back to boring gray. Let's change the color for the mouse over. Let's make it a shade of red. Save the file. Upload the file to the server. And head back to the home page, hit refresh. And let's check this mouse over. Ooh, red, very nice. So this site is highly customizable. And if you ever just want to go back to the way things were, you can just go back to a previously saved CSS file and upload it. Home page, hit refresh, and you're right back to where you started. And that's how branding of the GigRentPortal works with CSS. For more information, look us up at our website at gigrent.com.